They played in Jeddah at the Saudi Arabia Masters in early season. O'Sullivan won 5-0. I think going into that match, a lot of people felt he could have his hands full, but he played really well. Let's see if he can repeat that. But it has to be said, Neil Foles alongside me, he wasn't impressive last week in Germany. He wouldn't have enjoyed that performance against Ali Carter and obviously the defeat as well.
No, absolutely. Hello to everyone watching. Very good morning if you're watching from the United Kingdom or Europe. An early start to getting up to perhaps watch Rocket in action. Yes, he lost to a player that he always beats generally. I mean, I know that he lost to Carter once before in a lot of matches. It was at the World Championships. But losing again is sort of not a great yardstick for his form. But of course, as Dave points out, they met recently, or this season, these two, and it was a 5-0 job for O'Sullivan. Joe O'Connor usually doesn't seem to be somebody that worries about reputations, but he's going to have to do something a little different today to get the result on the back of what happened in Saudi. Good break-off, wasn't it, actually? It's the one shot that we see a lot now that doesn't always go right, but he'd like to box that break-off shot up, wouldn't you, and be able to play that every time, give an advantage. I think he's playing the thin glance on the left-hand lone red there. And he's played it beautifully. Good shot. Now, Sullivan with a long red, which he's not playing. I don't think there's a plant there. Wow, what a nudge that is. Seeming more trouble than the previous.
Yes, he applauded, but he acknowledged the good fortune. There's a good crowd in. Obviously, it's a huge arena, so it's by no means packed, but I think we're going to hear enthusiastic support. We did yesterday, actually, for Ding. Referee arriving at speed there, but it was red first.
We've only seen 2 shots from him, but he's a bit of a Mark Selby, isn't he? A version of Mark Selby, because both Leicester, Joe O'Connor, good player out of snookers, good player at getting snookers. You know, fights for every point. So I'm sure he's learnt all that off of Selby himself, who, of course, he did beat in the World Championships. Not the most recent, but actually the most recent World Championships he's lost to fellow Leicester players. In the first round, it was Joe O'Connor, and then in the 25 Championship, Ben Wollaston, both pals with Selby, both done from in the round 1 at the Crucible. I mean, it's very likely, if there's a lot of this, it'll end up a re-rack, but touching ball suggests Ronnie can play away, and because he will do, I'm sure. One thing Joe O'Connor did not want to do was leave a touching ball there.
O'Connor got to the quarterfinals of the Scottish Open just before Christmas, so that rubber stamped his qualification off the one-year list. And we've got a fair few ranking points for those wins in Saudi in the 2 rounds prior to play O'Sullivan. And also, of course, he was in the final of the Championship League, so points from that as well.
it kind of looked as if he missed the red that was up the table, that he would pop that one. I think that's all he was thinking of. Missed the first red, pop the other one, which he didn't.
One.
Well, Ali Carter, he said something interesting after he beat O'Sullivan. He said he looked like he didn't want to be here, but he certainly wants to be in Hong Kong. We saw him yesterday in the opening ceremony. And he did his media duties the day before the event as well. So maybe just the environment here, as in Saudi, will inspire him.
Yeah, I mean, I was on commentary on that match. I don't think I saw that from O'Sullivan, that he didn't want to be there, quite honestly. I thought he competed hard, tried to win, but lost. I didn't see it any more than that. I mean, we've seen times when he clearly hasn't wanted to be there. But I didn't view it quite that way in that match. One thing that was evident in that match, though, against Ali Carter, is that he didn't have the cue ball under any control, or the usual control. It was way off for a man who's usually got the cue ball on a string, you know. He broke down a number of times.
Something. Two.
Just a little glance there on the red on the right. It's interesting, the very first red he potted was the red that was close to the black, and it was more difficult than one or two other reds. Oh no, well that's not part of any plan. I think his mind was on the cue ball. He forgot the pot, which is not really an O'Sullivan trait.
Well, obviously the 5-0 drubbing was not a happy memory for O'Connor, but maybe he's now got over just the fact of playing O'Sullivan and just got that out of the way. Now get on with it. As Neil says, he's had some big wins in his career against some big hitters. And he's got a reputation as being hard to beat.
Yeah, good match player, isn't he? You know, I think that's the point. You know, he's a very measured player.
Yeah, at the Scottish Open, he beat, amongst others, Jiazing Tong, the world champion. And the World Open last year, he played fantastically, actually. Not quite replicated it in the final against John Higgins. But he beat Judd Trump, Sean Murphy, Ali Carter along the way to get to that final.
Yeah, from memory, the Sean Murphy win was something quite special, actually, because, you know, the way that Murphy can overwhelm a player, he was having that treatment done to him, as I recall. And Murphy, I think, was one of those matches he shrugged his shoulders and said, not much I can do when someone plays at that level.
Well, he's looking to punish that unexpected missed blue from O'Sullivan and just settle into the environment here.
15.
Didn't qualify last year off the one-year list, so this is his debut in Hong Kong.
Just looking back briefly at that match against Sean Murphy. He made 3 centuries, 2 ranks over 60, and in the frame that Murphy won, he made 128. So it was just littered with huge breaks, mostly by O'Connor.
See Ronnie in the background there, eyeballing Joe. Quite something you have to just put out of your mind, who's in the chair waiting to pounce. Of course, every arena's different. You know, if this was the Crucible, he'd be sat a lot closer. Played that nicely and opened these reds, so Joe O'Connor
28
with a good chance now, you've got to say, to win this frame.
$29.
The winner of the match plays Zhao Guodong, who, of course, beat Karen Wilson on this table yesterday, 5-2 in this session. I'm sure after the whitewash as well, he wants to show O'Sullivan that he's, you know, he's capable and up for it. And this frame, although it's only frame 1, it's a chance to do that immediately, isn't it? By saying, OK, you've missed, I'm going to punish you.
Yeah, I think you're right. I thought that, you know, if you went a frame or 2 down early, then you're thinking about what happened last time. And I wouldn't be too concerned as to whether he could win given the chance. So I would think that he could. No, I think he's not frightened of anyone in particular. Many a player has been on the wrong end of an O'Sullivan beating over the years. This was a shot he missed.
36.
He did have his mind on the cue ball, what he was going to do. Often the reason why a player will miss divided concentration. But of course the miss is only made to look worse when your opponent punishes you for it. And that is what
42.
Connor is hoping to do.
$43.
I think we've established that the pockets here in Hong Kong are not, as generous as sometimes we've seen in tournaments, across China,
49.
for instance. I think I saw a couple of shots missed yesterday that might have gone in on previous occasions. He's got to work out what he's going to do. Is he going to play to cannon the red and the black out here? Because he's got the blue as a possible ball to land on. No, he decided not to. Definitely an argument to play that shot there, I think. But of course he is a good match player. The lead will be 33 points after this is potted. But if the red actually still goes, then of course no reason to play the cannon. It must be tight.
56.
Yes, I mean, of course, now that we've established that the red was available, then of course, why would he play the cannon? Didn't have to worry about it. Needs another red. And I don't think he'll be doing anything flashy here. Drop this in.
Yeah, frame ball,
53.
important visit as well. It doesn't mean he'll win the match making this break, but he will already have done better than the last time they played. He's won a frame, barring
64.
snookers. And the other significance, of course, is how he got in from the O'Sullivan Miss Blue. Well, he has missed that blue, so
Joe Connor.
2 snookers needed.
64.
Not quite there yet.
Completely understand why he's playing on here, because I mean it's actually quite a good table for getting snookers. If you could have got that red in behind the black, it might have been interesting. You won't miss this, but you look at where the yellow and brown are placed, and you feel that conducive to getting snookers. Putting the black safe was not helpful for O'Sullivan, however. How did that stay out? Thought it almost half went down the pocket there. Well, it's not as good looking at the table now. The pink and black have been nailed to cushions by O'Sullivan as well. Joe Connor will be more than happy to see those 2 balls out of the game. And now, the pressure seems to be off there, so it's going to be the first frame for Joe O'Connor with a typical frame that he plays, really. Just taking what was there.
Yeah, he looked cool and calm, making that break.
6.
And there's no way back in this frame
Number
now.
6 and a frame.
So Ronnie O'Sullivan did have the initial chance, but missed that blue. Joe O'Connor punished, and it is O'Connor.
Cannot to break.
Joe O'Connor leads Ronnie O'Sullivan 1-0. Best of 9 frame encounter. Zhao Gudong will be the opponent in the last 16.
Very wayward break off here. Even too thin for the cue ball to come and hit the blue. He hit it sort of the wrong side of that happening. That was a poor break.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Because, you know, it's the only shot you're guaranteed to play in the match is breaking off.
I mean, I do think that these days, the way that players pot at long range, you know, I don't know whether necessarily breaking off is an advantage. I know O'Sullivan did a good one in the first frame, but so often red is left on, and that's why I guess Mark Williams started rolling up to the back of the pack for a period of time. Neil Robertson was doing it as well. This is good. Somehow didn't go behind that. Looked like it would have in running. I don't think that was a fluke. He sort of come round to see whether it was available or not. Needs to get across from that red. It's one of those shots, you know, you off that second cushion it will slide a bit, and he needed to get to the right of the red that he hit, and I don't think there's any more for him here. He has to play safe.
O'Sullivan 5.
O'Sullivan won this tournament 2 years ago. Is the last of his 41 ranking titles thus far. Of course, those points have now come off, so he has slipped back to 11 in the world rankings. Although 6th on the one-year list, which of course is how this Players' Series is put together. The players qualify from this season's points alone. Yeah, he won it in 2024. It was the week after he'd won the Masters. And just before that, he'd won the UK Championship. So it really was. I mean, it's only 2 years ago. It really was a remarkable spell. 4 or 5 weeks of winning tournaments.
Well, I don't know whether Sullivan can get to that left-hand red at all. It's a little bit congested, isn't it now? Might get even more so. Reds will possibly end up on that left side of the table. We had our first century of the day. Gary Wilson, 100 exactly, against Serge Aouet. We had 6 yesterday. Barry Hawkins at the top of the list. 141, that's the target for £10,000 high break price. Chris Wakelin has also won the opener against Tetjar and Nu. quite a big shot, wasn't it, with the threat of leaving a few reds on, which he has done.
One. And that's only one.
Wow, how about that? How about that? Nothing particularly difficult. I mean, we can't blame anything on that, really. The blue he missed in frame when you could see that he was thinking about position, but there he was just playing a pretty regulation pot to middle.
One.
And you can see, not on blue or pink.
He's hit that one so well. It's a shot that must give him confidence. I mean, he really did middle that.
Three.
When he's playing, he's going to try and avoid hitting a red on the side cushion here. Done well.
Four.
Yeah, I think with O'Connor, he's one of these players, he likes to occupy the table, and what I mean by that is, you know, you can keep his opponent out for long periods with good concentration. He's that sort of a player. He's not a player that will be rushed. That's what I say about him being a good match player in a way. It's kind of what I mean. You know, he plays a good safety game, and if you make a mistake against him, he'll make you
Eight.
pay the penalty. You need a lot of thinking time.
Nine.
Yes, he had to play it gently. Didn't want to get too far up the table again, so the pink was in the way of the red. What does he do here? I wonder if he'll
14.
take a little bit of a chance. It's not his style to take risks, but here he might just play with topspin and try and open reds up and see if he lands on something. But usually, everything he does is sort of pre-planned. He's not someone that will just chance his arm. Let's see what he does. The possibility of moving reds. If he is trying that. Goodness me, that's not so bad, is it? But fortune does favour the brave.
Yeah, I mean, finished nicely, but he was trying to make something happen there, and it has done. So Sullivan missed a blue in the first frame. O'Connor made 64. Sullivan missed a pink very early in this one to left middle. And they'll be concerned that O'Connor's only on 22. It feels like he's been at the table a long time, but of course, as long as he stays at the table, that's all he's interested in.
23.
Well, he's not going to keep O'Sullivan away from the table, missing those.
23.
I'll say it again, the pockets are not overly generous, I think.
Well, it was a surprising miss, that, and question now, will Ronnie O'Sullivan come to life?
One.
Really, all through his career, he's had the expectation from crowds that he's going to come out and play, you know, genius level snooker. You certainly can't do that all the time. He's trying to sort of find something this season, isn't he? He hasn't played in as many events as the other players, and as we sort of move towards the World Championship, clearly looking for some form.
5.
It's interesting though, because for years when he was playing at a very high level, he sort of played down winning the 8th world title. Now he's not playing to that level. He's been talking about wanting to do it as he tries to get these reds into play.
Very hard to get the reds into play. The black that was sort of used as a stopper there. But what I will say is, if he can pot a red and get to where he is now, the black would pot. But you know, he's not finished on a red, to be honest. So he's going to have to show a bit of patience, play thin up the table.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 11.
Potential stalemate has been averted there. And the black being pushed away, it was kind of blocking everything off into that pocket, but not now. As soon as he played it at that speed, I was thinking he might miss it. You know, it's a comfortable speed to play those. But I suppose he was doing it for a reason. But it's not a great start, let's be honest, for O'Sullivan. Missed a couple of bad shots already.
Well, O'Connor missed a bad black earlier, but he's got to sense an opportunity here. O'Sullivan not quite with it yet. Obviously work to do here, but back in.
Seven.
Good job. Worth the risk, wasn't it? Yeah, the sort of story that you're not meant to play a cannon on a red from a red. Very dependent on the circumstances. There was no reason why he shouldn't play that, and he's brought further reds into play. He's one of these scoreboard players. He'll work out which reds he needs to get the frame run without taking the safer reds away. But of course, he'll realise that he needs a little bit more than this.
14.
20 the lead. Very slow to go up those points, but 20 is the lead. Whichever way you look at it, the two reds on the left are going to be in play. You can't win the frame without doing something about those.
15.
I mean, this looks a natural to, off one cushion, go into the two reds. Very nicely done.
Yes, he is a meticulous player, isn't he, Joe O'Connor? Very considered player. Looking at the scoreboard now.
I mean, there is something about the Leicester lads, isn't there? They've all got really good way about them, understanding of the game. A lot of it must come from Mark Selby, mustn't it? What he's achieved.
Well, what a great role model to have in your own city. He needs the two open reds. This is just a bit awkward, though. And his logo's coming off or threatening to. It's not in.
Whatever he...
Joe O'Connor, 20.
I've not seen him do that, sort of wave his arms around a little bit there. But it was never in. There was nothing wrong with the table or anything. I'm not sure why he was waving his arms. Maybe the logo annoyed him, but it was never on line to the pocket. What? Now, can O'Sullivan find a way back into this frame? Well, he didn't hit that one particularly well. The cue slightly went across as he hit it.
7. Eight.
Trying to get into a specific place where it can screw onto this red. It's going to be a good shot, this, to get red out from here. Yeah, not quite there, was it? Sort of cannon you
14.
probably not achieve and get on the red many times as you wouldn't. Oh my goodness.
15.
Yeah, a little bit ragged, but if you could get this frame one, that would be a start. Just touch the green, leave the snooker, which is not a difficult snooker.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 15.
Well, it's early in the match, but and it's early in the day if you're watching live around Europe, but it's an important phase because O'Sullivan has struggled but has a chance potentially down the line to win the frame. O'Connor's had a couple of good ones already. Mr. Black, Mr. Red.
a pretty good shot. Yes, he's left a sort of the yellow out in open play, but it was very well played. Getting past the pink there. Sullivan needs a bit of cover here. He hasn't quite got. Strained on shot, but he got the object ball safe anyway.
Foul, and miss.
Oh my goodness, well that might take a bit of replacing if indeed he does ask for the ball to replace. How on earth is Zheng really going to get these right? Because green and brown have got to be placed precisely where they were, of course.
Well, I don't blame Ronnie for sitting down here, because this might take a while, not Zheng's fault.
I don't know if they've got the same technology that is used in some of the Chinese events, where it seems a little more straightforward than the directions from the marker, but we are seemingly seeing that, so maybe the technology is not available.
Well, that's Queenie, who's on the marker's desk helping Zheng here.
If that was on his spot, that'll be handy. I didn't think it was, actually. Difficult one. You know, because it impacts on the shot a lot, really.
Yeah, it's one of those where, you know, you can understand it taking time. Sometimes, you know, the more standard ones maybe go on too long, but this is important to get this right.
Yeah, he's looking back. Sorry, Dave. I think that's not far away. Because looking back at Discovery Plus, actually, at the positioning of the balls, and the green was slightly different. I'm amazed that the referee doesn't have the facility that we have just to look at it, basically, and you know, it doesn't have to be quite such a long-winded operation if you can actually see these pictures yourself on a laptop or something, iPad. But I wouldn't want to be pulling these balls back because it's a very difficult one.
So, everything's been put back. Let's see if take two is any more successful for Ronnie O'Sullivan here. He's rolling up to the yellow this time.
I think he played the snooker behind the brown here, pushed the yellow towards the pocket. Well, he's lining this up to the pocket. It's not easy. The cue ball and object ball very close together.
Two.
Well, obviously, the green, had it been on the spot, would be a lot easier to get from green to brown. And he will require the brown. Played it with left-hand side. It's quite a good shot, that.
5.
Well, as you say, just needs the brown. Of course, he'd missed a black, he'd missed a red. But if he pots this, O'Sullivan requires 2 snookers. So, not a clean kill, but Joe O'Connor is on top, and O'Sullivan, let's not forget, right at the start of the frame, missed a pink to left middle. Just hasn't got going yet, Ronnie O'Sullivan, in this match.
$14.
Joe O'Connor picking up the pieces.
20 in the frame.
He leads 2-0. Still a long way to go, but O'Sullivan's going to have to come to the party soon. Otherwise, it could be a reverse of the last time. Waiting in the next round, that logo's come off.
Could play it right-handed. I suppose to break off as a right-hander, couldn't he? That's one idea. So Sullivan is going to have to just step up the pace, I think. Try and assert his own authority on this match, which O'Connor, for now, has not allowed him to. Oh dear, that's another poor shot. There's quite a bit of room round to the left of that red for that safety shot. He's clipped there on the way through, however.
What?
Quite a difficult table, pink and black tied up for now. He'll try and extricate those, I think, at an early stage.
Six. Yeah, corner 6.
Well, again, more disappointment for O'Connor.
Yeah, felt like he was trying to pinch a bit of the pocket, but as you say, these are not, you know, as generous as maybe some of the tournaments in the Far East. Anyway, is this the start of something? He's still got the same problem O'Connor had with the big colours tied up. Very nearly freed that black. He's actually earned nearly $500,000 this season, O'Sullivan. You sort of think, well, we've barely seen him, but of course that Saudi event, not only did he get to the final, that was 200,000, but he made the two maximums. Incredible. In that semi-final against Chris Wakelin, an unbelievable night that was, and of course he's got the 147,000 bonus, plus a share of the separate 50,000 prize there was for one in that tournament. So those two breaks very lucrative.
It's just a reminder of what he is capable of, isn't it? You know, in all those playing days, he never achieved that before, but in Saudi he managed it, so it's still in there, the form. But I suppose sometimes as you get older, can you be as consistently good a player? That's the question. This is a bit of a stern examination already, this match, isn't it? The fact that he's a couple of frames down against a sometimes difficult opponent, I think. Sullivan, of course, has a safety game, a very good one. In a couple of the World Championship victories in recent years, his safety has been outstanding. And the Ray Reardon influence, of course, who was overseeing his game for many years. There's no real weaknesses to O'Sullivan's game, is there? He's a consummate break builder. I guess nowadays his long game isn't what it was. But this is a pretty stern test, I think. O'Connor is not making things easy. Many a player was just wiped away by O'Sullivan in quick time. It's not going to be like that today. Of course, the problem he has here, it's not easy to find a route back up the table with all those reds seemingly in each other's way. Been a while on this shot, but he can take it as long as he needs. Oh, that was a little bit ragged, wasn't it? Shot from O'Sullivan. There's only one ball to avoid on the way back up there, and he hit it. That pink, quite a lot of it, in fact.
Well, it's very congested here, but I think this red is cuttable. Bit of a stretch, Joe O'Connor, maybe not the tallest player.
One. Three.
Getting onto a colour is not simple again here.
Four.
He'd like blue or pink on their own spots, I should think, here at the earliest opportunity. That would certainly help his cause. I mean, I can understand what he was trying, as I say. He wanted the pink in the game, but, you know, it was not particularly well played. And he's been very fortunate if the pink seems to have covered that corner pocket there. So he got very lucky there. I think he was trying to play a positive shot, but it didn't look great.
Yeah, I mean, O'Connor, he's been the better player so far, but he's not playing anywhere near his best in this match either.
Yeah, I mean, all those balls clustered together is not really something O'Sullivan has had to deal with that often. Not part of the game, but he looks as if he just wanted to move the balls out, try and make things happen. He's always been very good at that. At the moment, though, he isn't making things happen. they get through to the pink? Don't think so.
Your corner 1.
Chris Wakelin 3-0 up now on Tepchar and Newt. Of course, both previous winners of the shootout.
Oh dear, that's a poor shot. And that was kind of situation. Sullivan wasn't really in a lot of trouble there. Again, he had one ball to avoid on the way back up and he hit it.
Not many points on the board, are there? But it's been stop-start this frame. There's still work to do for O'Connor to develop things, but it's a major chance this today. O'Sullivan not at the races at all. Joe O'Connor has made mistakes himself, but it's another scoring opportunity.
It is. He'll do well to win the frame for me, I think, you know, with the balls where they are, but he can go some way to doing so. When he takes what's on and gets himself into a lead, which could be 30 or 40 points, would be a handy advantage.
14.
You know, the red and the black on the left cushion, some reds tied together on the other side of the table.
$50. Punch. Your corner 20.
As he left the red. Judging by the way that O'Sullivan is looking down at those reds over on the right side, I don't think he has left it. Getting the black into play here slightly. It needs to cover the red close to the pocket, however. Yeah, there's a bit of a risk he took just to try and bring balls into play, but he left the red, and O'Sullivan has just, O'Connor has just missed.
One.
It's not finishing in a great spot either.
Your corner 1.
Wow, that bumpy hit there on the left middle, that has stopped O'Sullivan from being on the red. I mean, O'Connor played on this red up and down, but then the cue ball, as I say, hit the bump. And O'Sullivan was denied an opportunity.
Yeah, O'Sullivan is struggling, but O'Connor has had the running when he's made mistakes, for sure. It's just not leaving him in. But not this time.
No, he got a double kiss, I think, on that. I'm sure it was a double kiss on that red, and because it threw it offline a little.
One.
Well, look at those 3 reds, they're not available. And that will be on O'Sullivan's mind. Those 3 reds on the right, how's he going to bring them into play? And now he's having a little look. Don't know if the left one goes. It looked tight to me from an earlier shot we saw.
Eight. Nine. Sixteen.
That was not
That's
close,
number
I'm afraid.
16.
We were not right in line down the cushion, and whatever the pocket sizes we're talking about, and I'd say I don't think they're huge by any means. I don't think that would have gone in on any table. So it's not happening, is it? Let's be honest. As of yet.
One.
Yes, I think it goes, but not comfortably. Let's have a little look at it.
Eight.
Very poor shot though, isn't it? I mean, he never looked like he was going to get the right angle on the black to do anything with the other 2 reds. I don't think rolling up to the black's going to be any use. That would be an easy snooker to hit. So I think just putting distance between the cue ball and the 2 reds, almost leaving O'Sullivan a shot, might not be the worst thing, rather than leaving him snookered, because if he snookered, he can just roll up to them. So I think putting the cue ball maybe on the right cushion might be a good idea here.
Yellow ball.
He's not doing it. He normally plays the right shot anyway. He's a very measured player. Yeah, I think that's a good idea to leave him the shot, because this way he could leave something up. Sullivan though was up to the task for now. He could really do with finding a way back into this frame. So, another chance.
Seven. Eight.
Now, what does he do? I think the shot that he would usually play if confident would be to develop the yellow ball. And it's got its risks with the blue down there, of course, but he could play on it, and that's the other thing. Okay, this is decision time. It's played to move it. That's a surprise. That was a big target for O'Sullivan. Not the sort of cannon
15.
you'd expect him to miss, really. He'd hit it directly off the left cushion. Sizable target.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 15.
Well, he's in the frame, if nothing else. Slightly wayward shot, and well, this is the best opportunity of the lot. It's a thin cut. If he can avoid pink and black and get round for the green, could be able to chalk up his first frame here. And they've played it well. And this is where O'Sullivan campaign really gets underway. Needs to be a little high on the brown to get on the blue, and he's ensured that he does. He's top side. Needs brown, blue and pink.
Nine.
Well, these 3 frames, he's been about as far from the Ronnie O'Sullivan we've been watching for these decades as you can imagine, but it looks like he's going to be on the scoreboard. So Joe O'Connor
14.
may reflect that he slightly missed the boat here. Still in front, but could easily have been 3-0. O'Sullivan grateful to have the chance to make that little clearance. And he's on the scoreboard. Day 2 of the World Grand Prix. Live snooker here in Hong Kong. Joe O'Connor's had chances to be 3-0 up on Ronnie O'Sullivan. In fact, it's 2-1. He took a big yellow one, didn't he, in that last frame? It was kind of all or nothing shot, really. Didn't get it. And O'Sullivan made the little clearance, yellow to pink. Ronnie O'Sullivan's highest break, just 23. But he has won a frame. And Joe O'Connor knows, because he's watched as much snooker as anybody, that although it seems a long way off at the moment, even if there's a 20% increase in O'Sullivan's form, he could run away with this match yet. So be a little disappointed, I think, not to be 3-0. We'll see. The crowd here, I'm sure, fascinated by how this match might pan out. They're certainly giving their support to this man, who is on the scoreboard.
Frame 4. Joe O'Connor to break.
So Joe O'Connor leads 2-1, the last frame before the interval. A reminder that Xiao Guodong, who beat Karen Wilson yesterday, is waiting in the last 16. Chris Wakelin, by the way, is 4-0 up against Tepchara Nu at the interval, so that's not taken long. And now suddenly the long balls are going in.
One.
Sullivan's always been good at getting the high-value colours into play, and he's got the job of doing that here with pink and black tied up. The green takes him more directly down towards the reds than the brown. Well, he didn't play on the left-hand red. He's got no choice now to play it, and whether he is interested in bringing the black into play, but it looks a bit speculative. It may not work if he were to play that shot. That's the problem, isn't it? You know, he played a good shot, really. It's just that he's pushed it to the cushion. Break ends there.
Yeah, I mean, even though he struggled in this match, he's played the positive snooker you associate with him. Well, the black's been doubled.
Yeah, that's what the break ends there. But I think, to be honest, he's more interested in the cue ball down the other end.
But in general, I mean, the first three frames, balls went awkward. He was always trying to get them into play. He was trying to keep the table open, obviously to favour him. So his attitude has actually been pretty good. Just he hasn't played as well as he would like. And there, catching the blue. So the cue ball not going in its intended spot. And it's made a difference because this red is not easy, but it is possible. Yeah.
One.
Indeed, an opportunity. Red below the bunch, at the bottom of the bunch, is available.
Of course, he started as a pool player, didn't he, Joe? He was a junior pool player, but moved up to the bigger tables. The game that, of course, he's very well established in Leicester.
Nine.
Turned pro in 2018. He won the old European playoffs. There's been various routes onto tour over the years. That was one then. Won the English Amateur Championship as well. In fact, was Rookie of the Year after his first season.
He had a couple of big wins against John Higgins, didn't he? Which kind of brought him to the attention of the snooker watchers. To beat him once was a good effort, but to go and do it again soon after made you realise that he was a proper match player.
17.
Well, the Reds haven't really gone anywhere. I don't know if he's even on the loose one.
24. Connor, 24.
cover two runs on the left-hand side. That's what he was concerned about. But what about this one? Yeah, brilliant. And that's probably his best shot of the match.
By some margin, Dave, I think. That was a proper shot, wasn't it? And the damage he was doing. Should he have missed it, but didn't look like missing it. Now, that might just inspire him to better things. He really hit it well, that red.
8. Nine. $16. $17.
Much more conventional position than the previous
24.
frames where balls were on cushions and it was all hard work.
25. $32. 33.
Now that he's got this far, he needs to ensure that that terrific long red that he knocked in wins him the frame.
40.
Little look at the scoreboard, 32 the difference, so he's not far from having it
41.
won. Needs a red and a high enough value colour, which I'm sure it will be. So all of a sudden he has sprung into life. He needed to. Things were not looking very good part way through frame three, let's be
48.
honest.
No, and O'Connor had plenty of chances to lead 3-0. So 2-2
49.
is a bad result really for him at the interval, just the way it's gone. Still very much in the match, of course, but he'll be watching this thinking, OK, Ronnie O'Sullivan has turned up at last. This has been much more like it.
$55.
By far his highest break of the day.
$56. $62. 63. $65.
So much better from O'Sullivan. 65, started with a terrific red.
On the side, 65,
And we're all square at the interval. Joe O'Connor, by far the better player early on, but he failed to make it 3-0. Just gave
53.
O'Sullivan a foothold, and he's played a much better frame there. Set up perfectly for this audience here at the Kaitak Arena. 2-2 with 5 frames required for a place in the last 16 here at the World Grand Prix. Well, that's the second time he's done that now. Taken that logo off to break off. Well, I can tell you that Chris Wakelin has just beaten Tepchar and New 5-0. At fifth frame, Tepchar was in front, but Wakelin has made a little clearance. So 5-0, perfect start to the event for Chris. Of course, the Scottish Open champion this season. And he will play Elliot Slesser in the last 16.
Well, that was kind of like a break-off shot, wasn't it? But Gibble veered across. He looked very shocked by it. I don't know if we get a chance to see it again, but he hit the bottom red too thick in contact, but whether it was a kick, I don't know. Cue ball being cleaned, and not everyone uses the same chalk these days, but it was an unexpected outcome from the shot he was faced with, really, leaving a red out in open play. Connor, I think, has to play it cushion first. And played it very well.
Yes, Joe O'Connor has had 15 minutes to reflect, and okay, he could have been further in front, but last time they played he lost 5-0, so he's very much in this match. Such a big event, isn't it? This Players Series, to be in it, you're already stealing a march on most of the players on the tour, because obviously there's only 32 in this event. Then it's about trying to get in the next one, which is for the top 16. And they all carry ranking points and indeed big money. It's 180,000 to the winner on Sunday. And to come to Hong Kong as well, great part of the world just to see, never mind play at.
Well, I mean, you can get to it to pot it, but it's not a nice shot. You've got a long way to travel to the cue ball to the red, and the red to the pocket. It's dead straight. Might just clip off the bunch. Missable, this. No, didn't hit the side of the bunch. Very well played.
13.
There's two ways of looking at what happened before the interval, isn't there? And, you know, he lost 5-0 last time, and you could say, well, probably would have taken 2 each on the basis of what happened when they played in Saudi at the start of the day. But from 2-0 up, he'd have been disappointed not to have had some sort of a lead. The black looks like the yellow spot is the only one available.
Hunt. Yeah. One.
Beautifully played.
26.
How many can he make here is the question. I think he's a half decent chance. No, he didn't play that well. I don't think he potted it into the side of the pocket he was looking to. Played up on the blue, but not that close to it. I think Ronnie's still a little shocked by the safety shot which went wrong that he played.
Front ball.
Not attempting a pot here then, deciding that taking on the green would be too much to ask.
Your corner 27.
Well, you could see that happening. It was one of those shots he was aiming to get the cue ball back into that corner, but the blue naturally is always going to be potentially in the way of that shot. And it was a quite serious collision, wasn't it, into it, doing damage. Oh dear. Well, he was stretching on it. I didn't think he'd miss. So it was always to the bottom jaw, wasn't it? He was trying to hold for the pink to middle, I think, is the reason for that.
One.
So O'Connor back in, 27 in front as he comes to the table. Of course, we saw him reach his first ranking final at the end of 2022, that Scottish Open. He was a bit overwhelmed by Gary Wilson, 9-2, but that can happen. It happened actually this year, didn't it, to Champion Yu? Same score against Chris Wakelin. It's on the list, isn't he, of players now who, you know, you could see winning a ranking title, haven't won one yet.
Seven.
Just made it off the bottom jaw, that one. A terrific opportunity now, the second attempt.
Yeah. 14.
I'd be more than happy to leave that red on the pink spot, I think, with the pink now on the black spot, making life quite easy for the reds surrounding it. And it would mean a lot if you could get that lead back here. So he led 2-0.
15.
That's not going to be a way of doing it. That's a big disappointment, I'm sure.
Yellow ball.
Didn't get anywhere near to getting on that pink. The red was completely covering it, so it was a poor shot positionally.
Yellow corner 15.
And he's not really hurting O'Sullivan with these visits.
No, I mean, he made a bit of a meal of that visit, didn't he? Only scored 15, but what was a good chance. But another one has come along, the in-off, the red left corner.
And once again, just getting them in small numbers here. Not going to be able to pull a colour from here, I don't think. He played to drag it in and I think kissed that red full ball.
Yellow ball. On ball. Yellow corner 1.
So yet another chance. He surely has to win the frame here. And I guess the question about the O'Sullivan fourth frame, was that the start of something, or is it actually a bit of an outlier in the match? Because he struggled badly in this one.
7.
O'Connor just has to put the frame away now. Not too much more to do.
Eight.
Just this pink, in fact, and it should be 3-2. Of course, the win over Selby at the Crucible, which is 2 years ago
15.
now, it was his debut there, so he wasn't favoured at all to win that match, but it shows sort of strength of character. Obviously a long match, you've got to stay resilient throughout, and he did. Neil Robertson has just gone 3-1 down
22.
to Jack Jones at their interval, so the defending champion in a little bit of trouble.
Eight.
Snooker's so hard to predict, isn't it? At the moment, the last 15 ranking titles on the World Snooker Tour have all been won by different players, so that speaks for itself.
$35.
There was a time back in the 90s where Stephen Hendry won 5 in a row, but you know those days are gone. Just real strength and depth now on tour. And Joe O'Connor's done well in the end here. He needed a few chances, but in the end he has dominated the frame, back in front.
38.
Yes, and he did
40.
benefit from a couple of mistakes from O'Sullivan. Let's be honest, you know, the early mistake opening the bunch, trying to play safe, he got it horribly wrong. But as you say, he seems to be growing in confidence now. I know the frame's over, but he's probably picking up on the fact that Ronnie O'Sullivan is not playing like he can, and it's an opportunity, and I don't think he'd be frightened to take it should it really come his way from here.
47.
Leads 3-2. Seems to be loosening them up a little bit. So the shot is not off the cards here. It's a possibility, I think, looking at what we've seen already today.
Well, he's played the better snooker, O'Connor, so it's just whether he can continue to. Whether O'Sullivan can tighten up some of those mistakes you mentioned. But anyway, for Joe O'Connor, the main thing is he's back in front, 3-2. And the next frame, a big one for that man as well, trying to just find something here today, O'Sullivan, against a very determined opponent. Joe O'Connor leading 3-2.
Joe O'Connor to break.
Joe O'Connor gets frame 6 underway, looking to go back 2 clear, and of course within 1 of victory. 3-2 he leads O'Sullivan here in the first round of the World Grand Prix. Just a reminder, Chris Wakelin has beaten Tepchara Nu 5-0. Neil Robertson 3-1 down to Jack Jones. And it's 2-2 between Gary Wilson and Sir Joe Waite.
Well, he hit that much too thick, and it's given O'Sullivan something here. It's not an easy starter, but the black goes to the same pocket as the red. He's looking at a little speck of something on the cue ball, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, nice shot. Nicely done. I say it wasn't that difficult, but you know, a shot that can go wrong. So in first here, O'Sullivan, which will encourage him, I think. Although he doesn't seem happy with the angle he has on the black. Doesn't seem to think he's got much room to manoeuvre. Well, it mustn't have been, if that's the only shot he had, it must not have been a good angle, because it was a little nudge of the red forward.
9.
Now let's see, now that this chance has come, the pressure is on him at the moment. Let's see what he can deliver. I'm sure he can. Just a sticky opponent that he's playing here, tough opponent.
14. 15. 22. 23.
Oh dear. Again,
O'Sullivan,
thinking
23.
about the other side of the shot, I think. Getting position. Didn't expect him to miss that. So here is a moment in the match for O'Connor to potentially go 2 up with 3 to play. Sullivan not making much of the chance that came his way.
Five. Six. Eleven. Health.
I don't think there's much available in that bunch of reds at this stage, and of course he's going to have to open them up at some point very soon. He might be able to play 2 cushions into them, but does he want to take that risk? No, I don't think he does by the looks of it. Might be, it could have been that it was just a little too wide, the angle on the blue to play that shot, but the plan has got to be to open up
17.
the balls. And then that top ball, it seems to be available. Top red, if you see it, that one might go. But I suspect he gets the spider out and he gets the angle on the black. It'll then go into the bunch, and that could be either winning the frame or ending the break, I suppose. So that's a couple of shots away. Well, he has no choice here, does he? He has to go into them. Well, of all the things that could have happened, I didn't think it would be that he'd missed the black, quite honestly. I think he's covered the 2 reds up. He's very fortunate.
It's happened a few times, hasn't it? He's got away with a few. It's a much more open table, everything in play.
Oh, that was not his finest moment. He tried to screw the cue ball up the table, but it was a horrible misjudgment. And he's given O'Sullivan something here. And, of course, he missed the black earlier in the frame. It might go unpunished. Because Joe O'Connor has played a couple of very poor shots of his own. Not only when he tried to open the reds from the black and missed the black itself. That last shot.
8.
I'm sure O'Sullivan, if he's picking up the signs that he is still very much in this match and he could, if he get it back to 3-all, he might feel he could become the stronger player of the two from here. Connor's temperament is very good, but he's found some problems in this frame, hasn't he?
16.
Yeah, he just sort of laboured a little bit when he was in, I thought. Didn't look actually that
17.
confident, even though he's 3-2 up in a match where he's played the better snooker. So O'Sullivan, as in the fourth frame, looking to take full advantage. It was this tournament 2 years ago when he beat Ding in the semis 6-1 in Leicester. Played
23.
absolutely magnificent snooker. We haven't seen any of that today, but
24.
don't underestimate what a competitor he remains. Slightly caught that red a little thin. The cue ball ran a bit, but he's okay. He's recovered.
Yeah, I mean, the point you make about the pace of O'Connor, he's a deliberate player, isn't he? Let's be honest. And I think the one thing about Ronnie is
31.
the longevity might be that he has got in and he's been quick. He's still one of the quickest players on the tour. Doesn't take so much out of himself, does he? You know, the way he plays. He's got the gift, and that's why he can play quickly. But you feel with O'Connor, really, everything is a pint of blood.
37.
And also, you know,
38.
he waits, doesn't he, to get into the reds, whereas you know O'Sullivan, first chance he gets in the frame, he's going to get balls into play. Anyway, he's won this frame, so still fighting here. Spent a lot of time in that seat watching,
44.
but he was ready for this chance.
45.
You never know, of course, how Ronnie feels
52.
himself, because he's played at times apparently brilliant snooker and not had anything
54.
good to say about it. Maybe at times when he struggled, he's been sort of proud of the fact that he's been able to fight through, and it's that sort of day to day. He's just trying to get the win now. He's won this frame.
57. $61. 66. Ronnie 72 in the frame.
So Ronnie O'Sullivan with a 72. He needed some help getting in, but once he was in, he killed the frame off very nicely, and still very much in this at 3-3. Joe O'Connor's had a lot of chances, but he can't quite. Ronnie O'Sullivan breaking here in frame 7 of a possible 9. 3-3 with Joe O'Connor. Never been in front, O'Sullivan. Maybe this will be the frame. Of course, he's only 2 months now to the World Championship, unbelievably, and thoughts sort of increasingly turning towards it. O'Connor, as it stands, of course, will have to qualify. It'd be not a nice first round match for anyone.
Well, he had a long look at it and he ended up playing a very good shot. Because he wasn't leaving a great deal had the red not gone in. Certainly not an easy starter for O'Connor. So I wonder if O'Sullivan, if he could win this match, I wonder if we'd just see it as playing himself into a little bit of form, because he was quite ragged early. The signs have been slightly better since the mid-session.
I think as well, he must feel that, you know, this match could have been over by now. He could have been beaten. O'Connor's had plenty of openings, so maybe this is the time to strike now.
13.
A little muttering under his breath. I don't think he was delighted with that last shot. We occasionally do hear little comments from Ronnie when he's playing. Now, does the red go that's next to the black when the black is respotted is the question.
Punch.
I think it does. I mean, we're not quite in line with the pocket, but I get the feeling it does, although it's close.
21.
We'll be moving it here anyway, so that's the end of the problem. And that is a delightful little shot. Didn't look much, but that is a beautiful shot to get on the red.
28.
The cannon.
29. $36. 37. 44. 45.
Very good recovery. Crowd enjoyed it. Yes, and a little bit of zip has sort of crept into his game now. Bounce around the table.
50.
A little bit more rhythm. Sadly lacking over in Germany, I felt. Lost to Ali Carter. Having won his first round against Long Jiang, he didn't play all that well in that match either. A bit of match practice, maybe the form is in there somewhere. It's a tough match against Joe O'Connor.
$58.
Yeah, he asked him to clean the black. The referee just misheard.
59.
But I think we've seen the difference between the players here. O'Sullivan, you know, all through this break has been getting balls into play, trying to keep everything
66.
open. And then that great recovery red to the yellow pocket when he looked like he was end of break. And
67.
very swiftly, he's at frame ball. So this is more like it. He's going to be in front for the first time.
$72.
Let me go back to frame 3 as he misses that one.
Right,
2 snookers
72.
needed. But frame 3, and it could have been 3-0, probably should have been. And that might be, if O'Connor were to lose the match, what he looks back on. This frame not quite done yet.
Yeah, rather a strange shot, wasn't it, that he missed? He never got anywhere near that red. O'Connor good at getting snookers, but of course O'Sullivan, very strong favourite still. as ever, is of course to take him down to a single red if you can, and trying to get the snookers then.
8. Joe Connor 8. One.
So that red removes any doubt, and O'Sullivan now in front in the match. A match that he struggled in very badly early on, but he's kept his resolve and he's found a way back into it. Helped a little bit by his opponent.
9.
The thing is, he's still such a big scalp. He just is, regardless of form or rankings or any of that. It's Ronnie O'Sullivan. Big deal to beat him. And Joe O'Connor has not done that yet.
Well, for some, Dave, it's just a big deal to be playing him, isn't it? That's the whole thing, and you know, which is very true. But then to turn him over
13.
in a match is a real feather in your cap. Anyway, it could still happen here, but O'Connor is, you know, going to be behind for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, even
18.
Jagadong, who waits in the next round, he said, I want to play him as my hero. So that's kind of what, if he does play him, what he's going into the match with. Anyway, the crowd enjoying this frame. How much O'Sullivan has enjoyed it, I don't know. But anyway, it's about getting the win now.
Under 5. There's only 25.
Well, he's dominated the frame, and he's ahead for the first time, and you can see the fans here are pretty happy about that. Ronnie O'Sullivan leads Joe O'Connor 4-3, and he needs one more frame to reach round 2 of the
From 8. Joe Connor to break.
So Joe O'Connor led 2-0, had chances for 3-0. He led 3-2. He's now 4-3 down to Ronnie O'Sullivan, who therefore needs one more for victory and a place in the last 16. Neil Robertson in trouble on table 2. 4-1 down to Jack Jones. Remember, Jones 32nd seed, the last seed in the event. Just made an 80 break though. And in the other match still on, Sergio away 4-2 up on Gary Wilson.
Well, that's much too thick a contact. That's why the cue wouldn't get very far down the table. What a flick that is. He hit the other red on the way through to the pocket. I don't think he's on the colour. Wow, he actually did play the blue, which surprised me there. Because he couldn't cue it very easily. I mean, I kind of knew he was on it, but I just didn't think he'd play it. Because there's a red right next to the cue ball, and it makes it very difficult. A shot to cue comfortably. And as you can see, he was leaving plenty, so he's given O'Connor the kind of chance he really did need. Oh, well. From 2-0 up, got the point now where he seems to have wilted his game. Sullivan will pick up on that and he'll look to close this match out now, but that was a surprising miss. A right-handed player's leaning across.
Six. Seven.
It's certainly hard to fault the effort put in by O'Sullivan, because at 2-0 down he wasn't going anywhere and he hasn't played well.
12.
Yeah, but he is battling for every point, as he really wants to win. And of course he wants to win anyway, but it's evident that he wants to progress in this
13.
event against an awkward opponent at times. But the difference between the two really has been just the balls missed.
I think we've been saying it for many years,
18.
but the class of '92, the three of them just still dangerous. We saw John Higgins recently in the Masters final.
19.
Okay, he did fade in that final, but he still got there, beating Zing, Tong and Trump. Of course, Mark Williams earlier this season won a ranking title, oldest player to do that. So they don't do it every week anymore, but they can still do it. This has been hard work. He hasn't won yet, but he's favourite now.
24.
O'Connor's challenge has wilted, you've got to say, as the match has gone on.
25. Set. $31.
It was an interesting way of playing up for the bolt colour. Banana in the cue will round the bunch. But it's getting more difficult from here, though, isn't it, to turn this into a significant break.
35. $36. $41. Runners are in 41.
Push this red in towards the red and the black here, hopefully not leaving the red over the left corner. Well, I suppose that was the only concern. Covered it. Swerve took too much. So not over the line by any stretch of the imagination yet, but it's a very handy lead, and Joe O'Connor will have to find something because he missed that chance when offered it earlier this frame, missing the first red. Cue ball going nowhere as far as continuing this break is concerned. Black not able to be potted past the red. He had a sidelong glance at that.
Green ball. Joe O'Connor 1.
Well, O'Connor sort of hanging on now, isn't he? He made the running in this match, but 4-3 down, 41 behind. He knows O'Sullivan probably needs one more chance here.
Well, keeping him at long distance, but Joe O'Connor surely will have to play this, and of course he's missed a considerably easier red to this pocket.
One.
So has he got anything left here? Can he get this match down to a decider? I get the feeling if that's going to happen, it's going to happen here and now. And obviously the problem he's got a couple of safe reds, and I don't think it's particularly easy down the black cushion to just roll them in.
Well, meanwhile, fine finish from Sergio Way. Made 102 in the last frame to beat Gary Wilson 5-2. So he'll play Sean Murphy or Pang Zhu next. And he's 19th on the one-year list, so was battling to try and get in the Players' Championship. He'll have to go deep in this, but he's in the next round.
He's hit this well. He'd be unlucky if he's not on the red. I think he hit that pretty well. He'll have to play the more difficult one of the two if he's going to keep the break going anyway.
Well, now we're seeing the steeliness of Joe O'Connor, which is certainly one of his qualities. Back against the wall, he's suddenly starting to look good again. Still work to do here.
One.
Difficult shot this. Really fairly comfortable in the end, didn't it? Let's be honest.
Well, he decided to take the yellow cushion first, but got nowhere near the reds. 17 points in the frame.
Welcome 24.
Well, Well, Jack Jones, as you can see on table 2, is completing a fine victory over Neil Robertson, the top seed in this event, the defending champion in this event, beaten 5-1. Jack Jones, the runner-up at the Crucible, of course, at the World Championship 2 years ago. Fine victory.
Thanks, Neil. Thank you. Well done, Jack.
He's into the last 16. And so Connor knocks that red in.
One.
It's interesting, Dave, wasn't it? Because I mentioned the head-to-heads before. It was 3-1 in favour of Jack Jones going into that match, which was a bit of a sort of a... You'd raise an eyebrow to that, wouldn't you? And one of the wins was at the Crucible. So now he's 4 from 5. So fair play. It's a good record against someone like Robertson. I can't think many players have got that sort of a head-to-head with him.
Connor 1.
Well, I mean, it's one of those where he might have preferred the in-off. A lot will depend on whether the next one goes in. If this red goes in, the other thing to say about this missed yellow is it goes along the left cushion, and O'Sullivan's going to need it. So it was the first thing I kind of looked at, the positioning of the yellow. Tough red this. That's a big error. Now, again, the positioning of the yellow is everything here as to whether O'Sullivan can win the frame and match at this point.
One.
He might take the ping here because if that doesn't help matters, he'll be in a position where he'll be 23 in front. So if he takes the yellow, it'll be 25. It kind of gives him a little bit of assurance. It means that O'Connor could only try the frame, but it's a superb cannon. Such a cannon can go wrong on shots. That sort of little nudge, but he played it really nicely. And now he wants yellow and green. And I think he'll take something from this. If he wins, O'Sullivan, I do. He hasn't played well. He's knuckled down, and surely he can play better than this in the next round. If he gets through and pots his ball.
Yeah, he's shown his resilience, hasn't he? You know, it's not been vintage by any means, and Joe O'Connor, I think, will look back and think, I had a serious chance here today. But O'Sullivan has stuck in there. You know, you don't get to win
16.
41 ranking titles and all the rest without being a great competitor. And he's found a way over the winning line. And that makes him, I guess, dangerous for the rest of the week. He will feel, of course, he needs to improve, but the fact is he's still here. And the crowd are delighted. You can hear the reaction from the audience here in Hong Kong. They're going to see him against Xiang Gudong in the last 16. Joe O'Connor had a big chance to lead 3-0. That's where it started to go wrong for him. But as I say, O'Sullivan stuck to his task, and he has got the win by 5 frames to 3 and advances to round 2 here at the Kai Tak Arena.